everybody. Happy whatever day it is that you're watching this broadcast. Welcome to the From Pain to Purpose broadcast. I'm Teta Jackson of Empowering to Be. And listen, I'm so happy to have you here. Now let me ask you a question. Have you hit that subscribe button? Because if you hadn't, what is going on? What are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit the button, and then please share this with your family and your friends. I know that they will be so happy that you did. So again, welcome to the broadcast. And you know that from the last 7 weeks, we've been talking about 10 heartbreaking reasons women remain stuck in the past and blocked from accessing our bright futures. That's what we've been talking about for the last 7 weeks. This is week 8. So excited to move forward. But the first week we discussed the first reason why women remain stuck in the past and blocked from accessing our bright futures. We talked about loss of hope. The second week we talked about low self-esteem or no self-esteem at all. The third week we said it was because of limiting beliefs. The fourth week we said is because of self-hatred. The fifth week we said is because of fear. The sixth week we said it was because we feel deserving of punishment. And then the seventh week, which is last week, we said it's because we are listening to wrong voices or negative voices. So that's the 7-week breakdown of the topics. And as I've been saying, I'm not going to go over any of the things that I've already discussed. I encourage you to go back and watch all of the videos, and hopefully each one of them will be a help to you as you move forward into your bright future. So we're just going to move on to week 8, the 8th reason why women remain stuck in the past and blocked from accessing our bright futures. And I do want to remind you that none of these 10 are in any particular order. It's not that one is better than the other. It's not in ascending or descending order. It's just kind of the way that it came out of me as I was writing. So all of them are equally as important as the other. So we're going to move on to the 8th reason why women remain stuck in the past and blocked from accessing our bright futures. And that 8th reason is because we like it. Because we like it. We like the past. Yes, that is exactly what I said. We like it. We like everything that the past represents for us. We like what we feel. We like how we feel when we think about something that occurred in the past, when we think about who we were in the past. We just like it. Even if there was some painful moments that existed around the things that we like, there is enough good in the past thing that we focus on that we remain tied to it, that we remain tied to the past. We like it. And sometimes we just don't want to let it go. And I'm sure as I'm talking about this, you know exactly what I mean. Because some of you are still getting attention from the things that you were involved in back in the day, right? We all have a back in the day where we can pinpoint a moment in our lives that may be the proudest moment of our lives. It's just a time in our lives that we just say, man, if I could go back there again, I would. It could have been you were really good at sports, #1 in state for basketball, cheerleading, volleyball. It could have been that you were class valedictorian, #1 in your class. Could have been that, like some of us, yes, me too. Some of us were, the finest thing walking in high school and college, right? You were on the grounds and what they say, all the boys knew your name. That wasn't me. But some of you were the finest things walking in college, right? Your finest time, your glory days. Some of you may have been CEOs of companies or COOs of companies or CFOs of companies, or you were in these large positions that was paying you a lot of money and gave you a lot of notoriety, and it was the highest and best accomplishment that you ever had. And so you can pinpoint to those days and say, yeah, that was me. Some of you were the it couple, right? Because we all had the it couple in high school, the it couple in college, and everybody wanted a relationship. Even as adults, the it couple. When people think about couple goals, right? You were that couple. And so, if you could go back to any day, you would go back to the day where you were the it couple with your significant others. I mean, those were some of the best times. And, there are times where you are probably still getting attention from it. You may run into people from your past and they remind you, girl, you remember when you did this and you remember when you did that, and it was just your glory days, glory times. So you don't want to let it go. And you're lingering in the good times of yesterday, right? Lingering in the good times of yesterday. And because you're doing that, it has you stuck and unable to create good times in your today and plan for more good times in your future. And I'll say it again. Lingering in the good times of yesterday has you stuck and unable to create good times in your today and plan for more good times in your future. You like it. You like it. And the past, unfortunately, fortunately, I guess depends on how you look at it, has a hold on you. I should say us, because we all probably have instances and situations where the past may be holding on to us. And unfortunately, when we find ourselves in those positions, the past is holding on to us and we are stuck in our back when, and we are stuck in the back when life was good, right? And you may even say sometimes, like I was saying a little earlier, that I wish I could go back to the day when. I wish, boy, those were the good old days. I wish I could go back to the day when, or those were the best times of my life. You long for times that are far gone, right? Using all of your good energy to reminisce over what was instead of what could be. Because again, you like it. You like it. There are things that you can pull back on that make you feel good about those moments. Have you ever met somebody who dresses like they're still in the 50s or 60s or 70s? I have. I know some of us have those people in our families, right? That they still dress like the 50s. They still dress like the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, right? They still dress in the past. And have you ever took time to ask them why? Because I have. And their answer to me was because it was the best time to be alive. It was the best time of their life, and if they could go back to that time, they would most definitely do it because they liked it. Because they liked it. It was a time that they felt the most important, the time that they felt the most strong, the time that they felt like they could possibly just do anything and be anybody. They liked the past. They like it. They like it. They're not so fond of the present and where they are today, but they like the past. And we like them. Some of us, we like them. We like the past too. Now, maybe we don't dress like physically. We don't put on our clothes and we dress like we're still in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, right? We don't do that. But we do wear the desire for the past within ourselves, right? Emotionally, we're still tied to the past, that past situation where we felt the best about ourselves. We're still tied to it emotionally. We're stuck in the past and we like what we remember about it. Now, and our lives are a representation of this fact because we either haven't done much to move our lives forward from our favorite memory, or we constantly return to that point of memory for peace and comfort, never making any real effort in life to accomplish much more than what we have today. So either we haven't moved from that spot at all, or we've moved just enough, but then we keep going back to it to where, we're pretty much stuck where we are today. We're not advancing at all in life. We like the past, and we therefore are unable to move away from it to enter into our bright futures. Now, one of the unfortunate things about our memories is sometimes they play tricks on us, because as much as we can remember the good things from our past, we also forget the bad things that lived alongside of the good things. I want to say that again. I want to say it again because it's so true. Unfortunately, right? One of the unfortunate things about our memories is sometimes they play tricks on us, because as much as we can remember the good things from our past, we also forget the bad things that lived alongside the good things. We romanticize the past so much that doing so will sometimes have us longing for situations we prayed to be delivered out of. We romanticize the past so much, right, that doing so will sometimes have us longing for situations we prayed to be delivered out of. Yes, we long for relationships where the good times were always overshadowed by the bad times, but we seem to forget the bad times. We forget that, we were in that relationship a victim of domestic violence. We forget that our partner wasn't always good to us, right? We long for a job that paid us well, but it came along with a boss who treated us like dirt, right? We forget that. We forget we had a great position, but we were miserable every time we went to the job. We long to be a part of a community again where that created fond memories for us, right? But we forget about all the mess and the confusion that we survived that was so very prevalent within that community. Yes, we romanticize the past, forgetting about the pain that it inflicted on us and the pain that drove us to run away in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that that it's a bad thing to romanticize the past. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing for us to experience nostalgia, right? I'm not saying that. And somebody may be asking the question, well, what is nostalgia? Well, nostalgia is the sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or a place with happy personal associations. So you have a happy personal association, right, to something. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be nostalgic. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is sometimes we romanticize the past so much that we forget that there were bad things growing alongside the good thing, that the wheat was growing up with some tear, right? We forget that. And it's remembering the time when you, nostalgia is remembering the time when you would go, for example, go outside and play after school with the children in the neighborhood. Maybe you all played hide and go seek and nobody could ever find you. That's a nostalgic memory. You're remembering that about your life. Or maybe, you would drive to your grandmother's house in the country with your parents, and you look forward to going because every time you went, your grandmother made a homemade apple pie. That's a nostalgic memory, right? So it's nothing wrong with nostalgia. Again, the issue is when we romanticize the past so much that we forget about the bad, the wheat and the tare growing up together. We forget about the tare that was growing up amongst the wheat, right? The good, we forget about the bad that was growing up with the good, right? And it's kind of like the children of Israel who romanticized their relationship with Egypt, right? Where in Numbers 11 and 5, they forgot that they were treated badly, right? They said we long to go back to Egypt, the place that treated them good in their minds, but actually treated them badly, right? And they thought that remembering that they had some position that they really did not have in the land. And in Numbers 11:5, in the English Standard Version of the Bible, the children of Israel said, while they were in the wilderness, we remember the fish we ate in Egypt, and that fish didn't cost us nothing. And we remember the cucumbers, and we remember the melons, and we remember the leeks, and we remember the onions and the garlic. So they're remembering all of the good food, because right now, in this particular verse of scripture, they don't have what they remember having in Egypt, right? So they're remembering all of these good things, but in the midst of them trying to remember all of the good times, but what they forgot was the bad that was associated with them being in Egypt and having fish and having garlic and having onions. They forgot the fact that they were actually in slavery. They forgot the slavery part. And they forgot the hard times that being in Egypt represented for them. They forgot that the fish they ate, while they're saying it cost them nothing, it actually cost them everything, because the price of having the fish was their actual life that they had to pay with being slaves and being in service as a slave to the Egyptians. So listen to what I'm saying. Be careful about romanticizing the past. Make sure that when you are remembering everything. Remember the entire story. Don't just remember the happy times, but remember everything that surrounds the happy times. Remember everything. And hopefully, in doing so, in remembering everything, you won't find yourself enslaved and in bondage again to a past that you have already been freed from. We don't want you to be like the children of Israel, longing for a past that never existed for them, because nothing was free for them. They paid for it with their lives. So yes, you may have fond memories of your past. Yes, you may be connected to your past in a special way, but let your memories be just that. Let them be memories. Don't try to relive your glory days, and I mean, don't try to relive them mentally, and don't try to remember them physically, because some of y'all know that y'all can't drop it like you dropped it back then. You're going to break something. So don't physically try to remember your past either. Just let it be a fond memory for you. Let the past be what it is. Let it be something for you to learn from. Let it be something for you to grow from. Let it be a stepping stool to raise you higher in life. But don't let it be a stumbling block that prevents you from obtaining more in life and being all that you have been born in this world to be. Okay? So think about what I am saying. Think about everything that I have shared, and be determined that you're not going to allow your past to hold you any longer. I don't care if it's a good memory. I don't care, if it's a bad memory. You don't want to give memories power to hold you and prevent you from accessing your bright future, because there is definitely more ahead of you. So again, think about what I've shared in this lesson today and how it may apply to your life. Then make whatever adjustments necessary so you can reminisce about the past, but not romanticize it and then remain stuck in it, right? We want you to be able to reminisce and move forward into your bright future. Okay? Okay. Well, that's it for this week. Join me next week when we will discuss our ninth reason, number 9. We're almost done with this series. Our number 9 reason why women remain stuck in the past and blocked from accessing our bright futures. I will see you next week. Love you guys. Bye.